At some point during or around the year 2008, a Redditor from Finland named Tansa H purchased some new fabric curtains from a local store, some pop art featuring a repeating pattern of 8 celebrities. Tansa picked it up thinking it was a cool design, but after a few years thought, hey, I don't actually know who most of these people are. Let's find out. So in January of 2020, Tansa took to Reddit's r/tipofmytongue to find out once and for all who these people are. One by one, Reddit pieced it together. Not just figuring out who these people are, but finding the exact photos that the images were taken from. Each celebrity except for one. Celebrity number 6. Looking at this image, you probably have a lot of ideas of who you think this is, and so did I. So did a lot of people, as can be seen through this absolutely gigantic list of possible suggestions. So for this episode of Tales from the Internet, let's take a look at the mystery of celebrity number 6. This video was sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, the turn-based RPG you all know and love with over 500 champions to take on the game's various challenges. Here's my favorite 5. Zavia, who's an absolute monster attack champion. I recently respec'd her for my clan boss team, as I've given her slot in my arena team to Trun the Guilt Mallet, who deals a ton of damage and has multiple stun abilities. Apothecary's speed and healing finds a use in almost every situation, as does Stagnite's enemy attack and defense reduction. Finally, you've got Prince Kaimar, who can remove all enemy buffs, reset your ability cooldowns, and give the fastest arena speed aura in the game. And this month, Raids just released a ton of amazing new clan features and improvements. There are brand new quests for you and your clan members to work on together, new benefits for every clan member just for being in a clan, and even a brand new clan shop that gives you access to some incredibly powerful items. I like playing with other people, so I like all the new content for me to explore with my clan. This month's also got new champions to collect from fragments in the Doom Tower, and a load of events and competitions to take part in. If you want to get a huge head start in Raid, all you have to do is hit the link in the description or scan my QR code and you'll get an epic hero, Chinoro, who is amazing in the Doom Tower, 200k silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon an awesome champion as soon as you get in game. All this treasure will be waiting for you here. Once you're in, you can find me in game under the name Wang, and if you're fast, you can join my clan. Just click the link in my description and I'll see you in the game. The thing about celebrities, you'd think that by definition they'd be pretty damn easy to recognize. But you put a few hundred eyes on this person, celebrity number 6, and nothing. I guess you just stencil away enough of the facial features on a piece of pop art and all of a sudden it becomes less and less distinct. The distinguishing features disappear and they could be any one of hundreds of different similarly beautiful people. So let's start with the identities of the celebrities we do know. Celebrity number 1. Adriana Lima, a model most known for her work with Victoria's Secret. This photo was used for the XOXO brand, possibly taken as far back as 1999. Celebrity number 2. Josh Holloway, most famous for playing Sawyer on Lost. This specific photo was identified as being from the 2004 GQ magazine Men of the Year event. Celebrity number 3. A lot of people thought that this was Emma Stone until the exact source photo was found. And it's Adriana Lima again, this time from the 2004 Victoria's Secret Angels Across America tour. Celebrity number 4. Jessica Alba. Famous for a lot of stuff. Personally, I associate her with Dark Angel. This pic is from the 2017's Choice Awards, which pushes our time frame up a few years. Celebrity number 5. This is Travis Fimmel, taken in 2003 for the WB Upfront. Honestly, I don't know who that is. At the time of the making of this piece of fabric, he was primarily known for his modeling work and his run on the short-lived Tarzan TV show. But as of now, his most popular works are the show Vikings and the Warcraft movie. Celebrity number 7. Ian Somerhalder, known for playing Boone on Lost. This photo is from a 2005 ABC press party. Celebrity number 8. Orlando Bloom, aka Legolas. Taken in 2003 for a Japanese magazine, Kinema Junpo. And those are our celebrities. Let me get a big round of applause. So here's what we know from these images. So each one of these images of a celebrity on this piece of fabric was based on a real photo. And each of these photos were taken between 1999 and 2007. with most of them no earlier than 2003. But they could have been taken as late as 2009 depending on when exactly this fabric was purchased. Although these images are taken from real photos, they could be modified somewhat. This is evidenced by the photo they used of Orlando Bloom. In the original photo, his hands are up and he's holding beads. His hands and the beads have been removed from the fabric and now his arms are at his sides. It's also worth noting that most of these source photos belong to Getty Images.
$400 for a glass of fucking water?
User PM Me Your Ears contacted Getty Images directly, but their representative was unable to identify the person and suggested a reverse image search, which of course is not terribly helpful in this case. And after I saw that, I attempted something different. I tried to use an AI-driven search engine. They tend to be a bit more helpful if you're searching for something slightly different from the image you're looking for, but in this case it mostly just gave me drawings of Asian women and some guy who either looks like Phil Anselmo or Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks. It's definitely not either of them, but it would be pretty funny if it was. Oh, wait a second, I gotta hang up my Phil Anselmo, Matt Jackson, Jessica Alba curtains. PM Me Your Ears also contacted another stock photo agency, Alami, but they too could not identify the person. Note that that doesn't necessarily mean that the photo doesn't belong to one of these companies, just that the representatives they spoke to weren't able to personally identify them. Considering the types of sources these come from, mostly media events, I think it's extremely likely that the original source photo for this unidentified person, Celebrity 6, does belong to Getty Images. Another user, Future So Bright, just kind of tried to brute force their way through it, just combing through a bunch of Getty Images event pictures all the way through 2010, but they couldn't find anything. They also suggested that the type of outfit this person seems to be wearing is probably from a more casual event. This isn't really an outfit that you'd see at a red carpet thing where you'd see a lot of A-list movie stars, but rather something more casual like a TV or radio event. So that narrows down our field of top priority people to look at a little bit. They also noted that Travis Fimmel, although he's well known now because of Vikings, he wasn't really at level of star back then. Perhaps this person too, celebrity number 6, was also at that kind of not super famous level, but then they never ascended to the level of notability that Travis Fimmel did, which of course would make them harder to identify. And on that note, we do know that whoever made this design was willing to reuse people in it. I mean, you got 2 Adriana Limas. My opinion, you can never have too many Adriana Limas. And one popular theory for this person is that it's Travis Fimmel a second time. And people have pointed to a few other images that aren't an exact match, but they help make the case. Another user, Prissy, notes that in one photo, Travis is wearing a shirt with a stenciled gun design that can match up with markings on the shirt in the fabric. The photo itself isn't a match, but it's possible that maybe he was wearing the same shirt in another picture that is a match. Standard Deviation 2 attempted to overlay an image of Travis with celebrity number 6, and the earlobe doesn't quite match. Granted, this is something that could be caused by issues with focal length or slightly different camera angles, slight modifications to the art maybe, but in my opinion, this to me just doesn't look like him. Some other popular suggestions are Evangeline Lilly, which would make sense considering there's 2 other actors from Lost in the mix. There's also Edward Furlong, who has really similar eyes and that length of hair, as well as River Phoenix. I have my doubts about them though, because it seems like they're not right for the time period that this designer was going for. Their features are definitely in the ballpark, but they're just really a little too early for this. The full list of people who've been suggested is absolutely massive and spans characters like Axl Rose to Val Kilmer, Sting, the musician, and I assume not the wrestler. In addition to these suggestions, a few people on Reddit claim that they've seen it as maybe a jeans ad or something in a magazine before. They just can't quite put their finger on it. And even the government is getting involved now, with Carrie Odell, who runs the Library of Congress Mystery Photo Contest. This contest has resulted in the identification of hundreds of previously unknown people from old photographs. And he was brought in on this mystery when a user of r/tip-of-my-tongue tagged him in it. He hasn't managed to identify it yet, but he did say that he would pass it around to some people who are good with this sort of thing. Another user, I'm the Man in the Bag, suggested that the best way to solve this would be to get a hold of the designer. There is a version of this fabric that can still be found. It's the same pattern, but in red and gray. Every instance of this fabric has the same product ID number, which leads back to a company named Letky Mraz. Letky Mraz is a fabric company from the Czech Republic. Man in the Bag was able to track down a 2013 newsletter in which Letky Mraz mentions their fabric vendors, which included Robert Kaufman, Michael Miller, and Clothworks. After being contacted by Man in the Bag, Michael Miller and Clothworks both said that this is not one of their designs. He noted that Robert Kaufman was the most likely source for this of these vendors. He noted they have a category for figures that this pattern would fall into. However, the exact pattern cannot be found on their site. Another user, DataCap0101, did manage to get a hold of Robert Kaufman. Hello again. I finally got an email back from Robert Kaufman. All they said was, unfortunately we cannot disclose the names of our designers, which is odd considering they have an entire tab on their website dedicated to listing their designers. I feel it came from them, but they do not want to take responsibility for it. I think this is where you ought to look. And it would make sense for a fabric designer to not want to take responsibility for this design. Using people's images in this way could potentially open a company up to some kind of legal issues. But it's also quite possible this fabric was simply made by a company that wasn't mentioned in the 2013 newsletter. Realistically, I think tracking down the person who designed this pattern might actually be more difficult than simply getting the image in front of someone who recognizes it. Ultimately, I think that is the best hope of solving this case. And I don't mean simply thinking you know who the person is, I mean we've got over 200 suggestions. You kinda gotta have the exact picture to match it up with, and I know that's kind of a controversial stance on this topic. I've seen some arguments about it saying that it's too high of a standard of evidence. But there's so many people who are sure that their person is the person who you're gonna go with. And then you have to remember, there were people who thought that Adriana Lima was Emma Stone until the exact picture was found. So having the exact photo to match up with celebrity number 6 really is the necessary smoking gun to bring this to an end. A few people have created renderings in a hope of jogging someone's memory. You got hand-drawn extrapolations, tracings, recolorings. I know that when I saw this particular recutting, my mind went to Bjork pretty quickly, but I don't know. Some people even attempted AI recreations of the image, both static ones and moving ones. Some real uncanny valley shit. Realistically though, I wouldn't put too much stock in the AI guesses. I mean, I've tried to use AI to recreate my face from a blurry old photo on an old TikTok, and it didn't turn out so accurate. Made me look like some kind of Albanian Dracula or something. But nonetheless, all of these artists' renderings could perhaps help jog someone's memory. But anyway, that's pretty much all we know for now. Of course, if you have any ideas about who this might be, let me know down below. I'll add a link to the list of names people have suggested so far. Thanks to Exy from the Mysterious Song community for suggesting this topic to me. And if you like this video, check out my video about the mysterious posters in Resident Evil 3. I'm out.